morning, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and this is your weekly wake up call. Normally we do this on a Sunday before we do our big show, but Dave's been on vacation, and so that's been left up to me. So I'm running late this week, but nevertheless, here you are. I'm going to try to not make this too long because I want this to be short enough to go on every venue. So let's get to this quickly. I'm talking to you about voting, and I'm talking to you about voting with a very specific purpose in mind, and that would be to remove as many Republicans from the government as you can possibly manage to do. This requires you to get involved on a local, a state, and a federal level in all of the elections coming up at the midterms, because if you return the Republicans to power, if you allow that to happen, this country is only going to get worse. And I want to talk to you a little bit about just exactly what the Republicans have done for the American people, which amounts to this, a big fat fucking zero. Let's look at something here. Let's look at the bills that the Republicans have killed. And we're starting here with a list that begins in 2019, not that begins with this year. Okay. So we're gonna talk for a few minutes about this. And like I said, I won't make it too long. I'm not going to read all of this to you. I will read a few of these to you. These are some of the bills that have been passed by the Democratic Party legislature that have been killed by Mitch McConnell's Senate hold. Okay. Some of these have never even bothered to come up for a vote. Okay. So the Federal Civilian Workforce Pay Raise Fairness Act, that was passed on January 30th, 2019, dead. The Paycheck Fairness Act. The bill seeks to close the gender pay gap and provides more equal pay protections for working women. It has not been acted on in the Senate since April of 2019. The Raise the Wage Act, to raise the freaking minimum wage to $15 an hour for any kind of civilized country. People have to understand this, okay? The federal worker pay right now is at $7.25 an hour. The $15 minimum wage would be phased in over a number of years, which by now, here we are in 2022, $15 an hour is useless to the American people. And that is absolutely not on the backs of the Democratic Party, okay? This is bullshit. This is all them, okay? The Equality Act, which prevents, discrimination based on sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity in work, housing, healthcare, and other public spaces. Okay, it has been dead since 2019, and in this particular Republican climate, it is unlikely to pass. So we have open season. We have open season here in America on bullying and on discriminating against people simply for who they are. Okay, whether you want to hear any of this or not, this is an actual fact. Let's take a look at Florida. For this year, this coming school year, taking down all the little rainbow signs off the school doors because it's no longer considered a safe zone for LGBTQ kids. How about this? Not showing the bullying video. We're going to wipe that right off the docket. So basically, we're saying to the bratty little motherfuckers in America, you go ahead and abuse all of your fellow students because you know what? It's open season and we say it's okay. They killed the Dream and Promise Act. Okay, they killed Securing America's Federal Elections Act, the thing that they so rapidly go after. They killed the bill on June 27, 2019. The bill strengthens requirements for vote counting software to protect our elections from tampering by foreign or domestic enemies. Senate Republicans called it socialism and a power grab. Socialism, their great buzzword. It gets all the dumbass, low-level thinkers paranoid. And they know it. The Climate Action Now Act, killed. The Bipartisan Background Checks Act, okay, gun safety, let's forget that. The Enhanced Background Checks Act, we can't do that either. They voted against the Violence Against Women Reauthorization Act because they really don't give a shit about women. As we've seen with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, and now going after contraception and everything else. They have voted against the Medicare expansion plan. They have voted against lowering prescription drugs. They have thumbed their nose at veterans, okay, before what they did this week. And we'll talk about that too. The Veterans Access to Child Care Act, okay, they killed that. They've thumbed their nose at veterans. And then you know something? They don't have any problem funding war and sending them to fight. They just don't want to take care of them after, which is the same thing with children. They only care about children in the womb. Once children are out of the womb, they don't give a shit about them anymore. We're going to talk about that too. The 9/11 Victims Compensation Fund, they killed that. So hang on. They used the filibuster to kill the voting rights bill this year. Okay. So they killed the voting rights bill because they don't want voting expanded for people, because they know that people consider their policies unpopular and actually rather uncivil. And they know that people who are of color, women, LGBT people, trans people, anybody on the fringes that they deem to be undesirables are not going to vote for them. And that's why they killed that bill. They killed Build Back Better. They had help from Joe Manchin. I will hand you that. He's one guy. Okay. Had Joe Manchin backed that bill, they still would have found a way to kill it. They would have used the filibuster. We don't have 60 votes to pass the filibuster. We need to get rid of the filibuster while we're at it. Senator Chuck Grassley sees no GOP support for Biden's Build Back Better plan. No shit, Sherlock. Now they're going to backtrack on the bill that they killed last week. So the story on that bill is they passed it a month ago. They had no problem with the cost of it then. There was a procedural problem. They agreed to go back in and reauthorize the bill. When they went back in to reauthorize the bill, 25 Republicans who were in favor of the bill a month ago voted the other way and killed it. They killed it because the Democrats had the audacity to pass a Democrat-only climate bill, which is the only way it was going to get through. And they thought that bill was not going to be quite as broad. So in their juvenile and very vitriolic way, what they did was they paid back the Democrats by killing the veterans bill. Okay, now there's a firestorm, so they're going to promise it's going to pass this week because the Republicans suck, and it's as plain and simple as that. No Republicans backed your $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief bill because they don't really give a shit about you or your health. And now, again, just to show you the stuff that they focus on, the GOP-controlled states are now suing so that they don't have to give free lunches to LGBT students. What the fuck is wrong with this country? There's something very wrong here. And you know what? All of this bullshit, this racism, this transphobia, this homophobia, all of this shit is because we elected the country's first Black president. Absolutely is. All of these militias and racists came out of the woodwork and then were enabled by Donald Trump. Let's talk about where they're going to go with you. You return the GOP to power in 2022, and they on their list, and it may take them a long time to do it, but they're going to do it. It took them a long time to overturn Roe v. Wade, but they managed to fucking do it. So do not start with all of this is a distraction and this can never happen here. Don't go there, okay? Because that's absolute bullshit. Did you see what happened on January 6, 2021? Did you see that? Did you see that 147 seditionists who are now serving in government voted to overturn a legitimate election because Donald Trump didn't like to lose? It's as simple as that. He's a despot who wanted to stay in power. And the Republicans were only happy to keep him there. And I am absolutely convinced that the hero of this whole thing, Mike Pence, had he thought it was legally feasible, he would have gone along with it. He's not a hero, okay? He did the right thing. He should be commended for that. He's not a fucking hero because you know what? He doesn't even want to talk about it. He doesn't even want to talk about it now. He wants to just let it happen, even though they wanted to hang him from a gallows outside the Capitol building, okay? Because he needs their vote. He's running for president. On the dance card for the GOP is repealing Obamacare and taking away health care from the 43 million people plus that have now got coverage when they never had coverage before that, all right? They want to kill Social Security. On their dance card from the Heritage Foundation is eliminating Social Security disability for children. On their dance card from the Heritage Foundation, who they use to help build their policies, is taking away the Head Start program. Reform the White House initiative on historically black colleges and universities. Eliminate the Federal Housing Administration. Let's add to that the EPA. Let's add to that the CDC. They want all of that to go back to the states. Picture the next pandemic. If they return that to the states that are fucking nutbags like Arizona, Wisconsin, nobody will be vaccinated. And if you think it's just going to stay in that state, you're fucking wrong. Everybody travels in this country every fucking day. Okay? They managed to kill the climate bill by having the Supreme Court stacked to the right so that they have limited the EPA's power to regulate emissions into the atmosphere. That is a worldwide problem. Every time we do something fucking stupid here, it affects everybody else. Okay? We live in a worldwide community. I don't want to hear the word globalism anymore. We live in a worldwide community. We're all supposed to be working together to save the planet. You know what? If the planet goes, you're all going to go with it. I'd like to remind the American people that it won't stop there. Medicare, Social Security, anything that's a safety net they call socialism, they're going to take that all away from you. You either need to fucking mobilize yourselves and wake up, or you know what? Don't come back after the election and start bitching on social media. Because if you're not willing to go out there and get other people to vote, get on a phone bank and phone bank for people, this country is already very well on its way to being a fascist dictatorship. Okay? It's going to authoritarian rule, and there's 3 states where they're practicing this now. One is Arizona, one is Florida, the other is Texas. The bills that they are passing on a state-by-state basis can only be described as inhuman. They show little caring for anybody in this country who doesn't fit the white male mode, and everybody better understand what's going on here. I'll talk to you all later.